Hi, everybody. We're here with Melissa, and please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Melissa Askew, and I live in Eugene, Oregon. I'm a silver with Young Living, and I'm a mom to 8 kiddos. I've been married to my husband for 18 years, and I'm super passionate about the Young Living Foundation. So I'm super excited to talk to you guys about them today.
Okay, when did you get involved with the foundation? Was it when you became a Young Living member? Was it after?
I think that I heard a little bit, saw there's a little box you could check up to round your order when I first became a member. But when I really heard about them was when I attended convention for the first time, which I think was three years ago. And they always have some really amazing videos and speakers to talk about the foundation. And that's when I learned more and went over to the booth afterwards and started asking questions and sponsored a kiddo. And that's just kind of how I started with them. And then it's just grown from there.
Where did you serve with the foundation?
Oh, you cut out a little bit there. What was that?
Where did you serve with the foundation? What service trips have you gone on or helped with?
Awesome. So my first trip was January 2 years ago, and I traveled with the foundation to Uganda and served with our partners there in Uganda. At the time, it was Healing Faith, Soul Hope, and African Hearts. And then there was also a couple other different organizations that weren't official partners, but that we served with while we were there. And then since then, I've returned back a second time on a member-led trip, which was people that had already served, Young Living members that had served there before and wanted to go and dive in a little deeper. And that was about 4 months, I think, after I got back. I went back a second time because it just got right deep into my heart. And then my third trip was just here this previous January. My husband and I were able to travel with the foundation. They just started this really cool new Young Living Foundation ambassador program. And so us and our spouses got to travel. And this time we got to see Hope for Justice too, because they are now present in Uganda with some lighthouses. So I got to learn more about their organization, and they are just incredible what they are doing. Had so much more depth to their programs than I knew about. So I've been 3 times, and I'm sure that I will be back again.
What was your favorite part about serving on the trips?
Oh goodness. Well, there's a lot. Probably the first thing that comes to mind is the friendships that I made on those service trips. You just bond so deeply with the people that you're traveling with. You spend a lot of time together, a lot of car rides, and bumpy roads, and you just kind of dive deep into relationship a lot quicker than friends you've known even for years. So I really cherished that, and everyone came from all different parts of the world, so it's been neat to make friends that I wouldn't have otherwise. But then also just really seeing how strong of an impact the foundation is having, and the ripple effect that makes throughout the communities. I didn't realize how deep it reached until I went and served and saw it with my own 2 eyes, and got to get my hands, washing kids' feet and hanging nets in remote villages, and just really seeing how those things that seem real little were actually very impactful.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit more about Hope for Justice? In the previous interviews, we've heard a little bit about Healing Faith and the mosquito nets and all those. But Hope for Justice is actually my favorite, so I'd like to know a little bit about how you served through them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. So one of the things that we did with them, because I've always known Hope for Justice, in my head it was that, you know, they help rescue girls out of sex trafficking, which is definitely something that they do, but I've really learned that that's just a piece of what they do. So in our time there, we went into the largest slum in Africa, and there was this little group of women, I'd say about 20 women, that have formed this community group, and they meet together once a week. They have this really cool metal box, and it has three locks on it, and three different members of their group hold the keys, and then there's a treasurer that holds the box, and each week they meet, and each of them give money into this box. They try to save a little bit each week, and then once the fund, after 6 months of starting this nest egg, they then begin to do microloans out of it. So if you want to send your kid to school, because you have to pay for education there, school is not free, you have to pay tuition and for uniforms. So that, or there was a woman who wanted to start to be a seamstress, and she needed a sewing machine so she could start her own business. So she was able to borrow from this fund, and then as they start this business, then they're paying more into the fund that other people are then able to use. And it was really neat because I saw where they were solving a problem at a root issue, because when these moms weren't having to figure out how they were going to send their kids to school, they weren't needing to send them onto the streets to collect plastic bottles in which girls and boys were being picked up and put into trafficking. So it's putting kids not at risk, because they have a way to provide for their families, and better their families. So it's really starting to solve trafficking at the root, which is really awesome. And when you empower a mom,
Yep.
you're going to see amazing change, because she wants better for her kids.
Yep.
And so to see these women so proud of what they were doing, but also cheering each other on, and trying to get each other to dream big. Like what talent do you have? What do you want to do? And like, let's help your family get there, was super, super, super cool. And then we got to go to one of the lighthouses. They have a boys and a girls. And really it's the boys that are put into a lot of modern day slavery situations, selling drugs for others, things like that, being put to work, with little girls being put to work and not being paid, is also a piece of it. So it's not just sex trafficking, but also just forced servitude. A lot of them are promised that that they'll be able to provide for their families, or they'll be able to save enough to go to school or whatever it is, and then they're just never given that, and they're kind of trapped because they're taken far away from their families. So Hope for Justice is doing a really incredible job at finding these kids. They have a group of men that go out each night and do what they call a street walk, because these kids all sleep on the streets. I've never seen anything like it, and I've traveled many places, and just these communities of kids that bed down in whatever like planter that they can find, or the front of a shop. Some of them go under like these little bridge areas where there's like maybe a foot wide concrete like little pathway before it drops off into a full drainage ditch, where these boys are sleeping, and they're building relationship. And the kids were excited every time we would come see them. They'd come running up to talk to the guys, and then when they get to a point where they really know kids and know that they're ready, they offer them, if they want to come off the streets, that there's a place they can go. They work with the local police too, so that doesn't just look like they're like snapping kids up off the streets themselves, but finding kids that are really ready, because they really form a community and a family there in those situations. So you think, why wouldn't a kid just want to leave? But that's their brothers, that's their sisters, and if they're not there, they're worried who's going to take care or protect their friends. So really just seeing these guys pour into relationship is amazing. And then to see kids trust and then come to the lighthouse, where a lot of them are getting education for the first time. Some of them have never ever attended school, so they're helping them catch up with some basic skill sets so that they can even enter into school. And so they have a teacher that's on site who's an incredible teacher because she's teaching kids of all ages at all. I mean, she might have a 14-year-old boy and she's trying to teach him the alphabet. So trying to have maybe a 6-year-old and a 14-year-old at the same time and knowing how to like reach them where they're at educationally was super impressive. And then they have an on-site psychologist that meets with the kids every day, gives them the opportunity to talk. They have a medical team because most of them come in with medical issues, whether it's, cuts and bruises or malnourishment or all sorts of different things. So they take care of their medical needs. If there's something that they can't address, they take them to a hospital. Like they've had kids come in with tuberculosis or whatever it might be, malaria, and they need extra treatment. So they take them to the hospital, stay with them, pay for that medical treatment, and then bring them back into the Lighthouse. And it's a program that has a set amount of time. So the goal is to learn skills. So whether it's school and then whatever passion that they have. So say they want to learn how to make shoes, they want to be a shoemaker. So they'll find wherever this child's area home is from, they'll find a shoemaker in that area to apprentice the child, and they'll go through an apprenticeship with them so that then when they return home, they have a job. So they're not going back to the streets trying to make money. They meet with they seek out the family of the child to reunite them back with their parents. If there was an issue there, they help them work through that with social workers that are going out to the family. The kids are learning all sorts of really cool skills about how to be in community, how to brush your teeth before you go to bed, do what's asked of you, keep your area neat and clean, have a school uniform, have pride in that. And so the kids are going home with skill sets where the families almost don't even recognize them. Like, what did you do to my kid when they're away? They're listening to me. And so then after a kid is returned home, they continue to go out and meet with the family and make sure that the kid is in school there or into their apprenticeship. So they're really just solving problems within families and communities that really will hopefully end this cycle of children being put into situations that no kid really should have to. So there's just so many different levels of their programs, which is really, really neat that it's not just like a Band-Aid over a problem, that they're really working on some root issues. And for kids that can't return home, they find foster families within their community. And I'm a foster mom myself. A couple of my children have been adopted through foster care here in Oregon. And I was curious about how their system worked and got to sit down and have a great dinner asking about that and what the turnover rate is, because that's so high here, and that they make sure that a family is a great fit for a kid. They do a couple week trial period, and they want to make sure that the kid feels it's good for them, not just that the parents feel like that kid's a good fit for them, but that it's mutual, and that if it's not, they keep looking for a different family, and then that kid is then in that family for the rest of their lives. So they don't age out of a system. They're really just brought into the fold, which is incredible. They help with if there's any medical needs that the kid has, but otherwise the family really just takes them in as part of their own. And then there's training and follow up with that family and whatever that kid's specific issues are or needs based on, all of the really tough things that they've been through that have ended them in that point. But it's really just like breaking a cycle, which is really wonderful to see. And we have a lot we can learn from how other countries are really successfully creating family units that are thriving. It's really cool to see. So that's just a little taste of what they're doing.
That was fantastic.
It's incredible. When you're giving, you don't think much about, where your money's going. When you round up, it's a few cents or a few dollars, but the US dollar goes really far in other countries. So what we're able to do for education and housing and food, therapy is huge. And what mama wouldn't want that for her kids, right? So that's something that we could be doing for other children as well as our own, right? So
So how did you get chosen? I mean, that was a lot, and that was so great.
That was a lot. Sorry.
Yes, that's okay. Totally cool.
Forever.
That's fine. Even I learned some things.
I filled out application. I was actually at church on a Sunday. It was a missions Sunday, and there were some people that were sharing about like missions trips that they had been on, and ever for about 17, 18 years, God had been calling me to go to Africa. And I had went on a little retreat, and a cross-line friend had just traveled the previous summer with the foundation, and she shared about her trip. And I was like, yes, that unites like everything I wanted to do. So I told her, help me pay attention for when applications open up to travel with the foundation. And she sent me a little text message like, hey, I just saw the foundation post. And so I went and filled out an application through the foundation's website. Which is the younglivingfoundation.org. At the top, they have like a little get involved link. And you can go right now if you're interested in any of the service trips and put your email there, and they will email you when applications open, which will be early August. There's one that'll open next month in May for a Nepal trip, but all the rest of them will be early August. And you have about almost a year sometimes from when you're selected to when you actually travel. So lots of time to prepare. Yeah. So that's what I did. I filled that application, answered the questions about why I wanted to go. And I'll always remember the day that I got that acceptance email and just like ugly cried and just, 6 months later, standing in Africa and watching these kids like dancing and singing in the circle, and it like hit me like, oh my gosh, I'm here. Like so many years this kind of led up to taking place, but it was the right timing, and really Young Living had to come into my life to do that. I loved being able to use oils and teach use oils in like remote villages in like the middle of in the middle of nowhere, and be like using purification and lavender and tea tree, and just Gary's vision of oils in every home includes every little mud hut in the middle of unreached lands in Africa. Was really cool. Just kind of how all those things came together. Hey.
So how did you pay for the foundation trip? What kind of fundraising did you have to do?
I did all fundraising for mine, all sorts of different things. One that was really successful for me was doing a silent auction. So I asked for donations from friends that own small businesses or new people. I had friends that were hairstylists, so I asked for like a cut and color from them, or a friend that does raindrop massage, and a friend that owns a restaurant, and got a gift card from there. And then that friend that owns a restaurant let me do my fundraiser there, and she donated a percentage to the food that was bought that evening. And then everything was donated to me for the items. So everything that came in was 100% for my travel. Created a GoFundMe page and kind of shared my story. Had some friends from afar donate that way, or I did a lot of social media posts on why I was going and what I was going to do there, and had a lot of support that came in from that. I baked pies for Thanksgiving, and people bought pies, and if they didn't live locally, I gave them the option to purchase a pie and donate it to local first responders. And then I got to go with my family on Thanksgiving and drop them off down at the police department and fire department and local dispatch and things like that. So that was a really neat experience I got to have with my family too, and give back to our local community as well. I made roller bottle sets. I designed a t-shirt through Bonfire for my trip, and proceeds from that t-shirt sale, all sorts of stuff. So just brainstormed what I'm good at. I asked friends like who likes to make things, or has an Etsy shop or whatever it might be, and willing to donate some of their products that I could use to fundraise with, and just got crafty. I have a friend that's really crafty that was super helpful. Because not my wheelhouse, but I learned some skills. And then while I was there, I purchased some jewelry and local art and things like that, and then brought that back to fundraise for future trips, or to use to fundraise for the foundation. So that was kind of a neat little thing that I got to do too. So, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself going next? What kind of trip do you want to do?
Well, since going to Africa 3 times, I've started a nonprofit with some friends that have also are Young Living members and traveled that will help fundraise for service trips that people that are interested to coming with us and serving with our foundation partners.
Mhm.
And then, so I'll definitely be going back to Uganda. And then I really want to go to the Young Living Academy in Ecuador. So that's on my list. And then to see what Hope for Justice is doing in Cambodia. So those are all on my to travel list, but also trying to get other people a chance to go on these amazing trips. So just yeah, it's exciting to see it firsthand and be able to come back with pictures and stories of what the foundation is doing is passion of mine. So I'm really looking forward to getting to see the academy next.
Awesome. So, what are some other things you want to share about the foundation and fundraising and such?
Awesome. So the foundation just rolled out a new project at the April rally that they're doing in coordination with the the school in Ecuador, the Young Living Academy. So it has 100% graduation rate, which a lot of us know, which is incredible because that blows the national average there out of the water. But our high schoolers are graduating, our seniors, and they're getting accepted into incredible universities, and they're getting scholarships and grants, but that's not completely covering their tuition. So they have anywhere from 60 to 40% of their tuition that they're still need to come up with, and their families just don't have it. So the foundation has created an endowment scholarship program for our graduating seniors, which is really exciting. And they're trying to fundraise $1 million quickly to cover our graduating class this year, last year, and the last few years. So because kids are really trying to like gather that support to go to college, and then if they fall short of that, by that point they're too late to get into a local community college, and they're not going to school when they should be. So it's something that's like a no-brainer for the foundation to do, and by creating an endowment, it's awesome because that will continue to perpetuate for future graduating classes. So that is a new thing, that when you round up your order, you add a little extra in that box at checkout. You can choose the endowment fund now to support graduating seniors. And there's something so amazing about empowering students and then what that's going to do for their local communities when they go to school to become a doctor, a social worker, a nurse, a pilot, whatever it is, and that they're able to then bring those skills back home or go other places in the world with that. The foundation is all about empowerment, and the scholarship fund is a great way to do that. So I want to make sure people know about that. If you didn't attend rally, you might not have heard. But you can also follow the foundation's social media and learn about all these things. And then another fun one, if you went to convention last year, you might have seen my friend Whitney design these really cool t-shirts based on the Mona farm there, and sold them as a legacy t-shirt for Gary, because it was just after he passed. That convention was last year. And she raised 20 grand for the foundation, which is incredible because we know like how far each and every one of those dollars go. But this year she's designed another shirt that's based on the Northern Lights farm, and 100% of the proceeds from that are going to go to the foundation. So you can get your t-shirt. I'm sure that you'll share a link where they can get that, or the foundation will be sharing that. They look like this, the Mona Lights farm, the Northern Lights farm is really fun. And our goal is to raise $40,000 this year. And then if you're attending convention, we're going to get together on the Thursday night during convention and take a big giant group picture, everybody wearing the shirts, and they're going to frame that and give it to Mary Young and just let her know that Gary's legacy is continuing on in each of us, and that the legacy of his foundation is impacting so many people. So that's a fun thing that you can do. Get involved, get a t-shirt. You don't have to attend convention to get one. They have last year's for sale too. And all those proceeds are going to the foundation. So grab a t-shirt. That's real easy. And then just another thing is, if you shop on Amazon, I don't know if you shared this with your
Not yet
people before, but if you bookmark smile.amazon.com, it lets you pick a charity, and you can pick the foundation as your charity. And then anytime you shop from that smile.amazon, a percentage of your purchase is donated right over to the Young Living Foundation, which is awesome because you're shopping on Amazon anyway.
Yep.
So that's
Exactly.
a super easy thing all of us can do anyway, when you're ordering your roller bottles and your carrier oil and whatever, pajamas for your kids. So that's a easy thing that not everybody knows about. So spread the word to your team. And then also, as a lot of you are business builders, just letting people know when you sell them a starter kit that we have this incredible foundation that really sets us apart from any other essential oil company, that we are wanting to see locally, globally, people be empowered. And rather that's disaster relief, $6 million have so far went to U.S. disaster relief for members whose homes are just destroyed in floods and earthquakes and fires. And just seeing how much what that must feel like to someone to receive a care package, a member, when you've lost all of your oils in your diffuser, and to have one just show up is really neat. So that's just another thing too. When you donate to the general fund, that's something, natural disasters that pop up. And when you round up your order and click that box or add in an additional amount, it has like a little scroll down menu where you can click which partner you would like that donation to go to. It auto defaults to the general fund. But if you're passionate about Hope for Justice, if you're passionate about Healing Faith, like for me, I always put in at least an extra dollar in that little box, because I know that'll buy a malaria test kit and all the medication needed to treat a child from malaria. Super easy. You saved a life by your dollar, because that US dollar just really goes far. And over a year, it's only $12 you're donating, but that's 12 moms answers to prayer that you were. The average person gives about $2.50 by rounding up over a year, which is awesome. That's 2 lives, but we can step it up a notch. So write in an extra dollar there. If you're a business builder, you can donate out of your commission check. You just go through the foundation's website and you can choose which partner you want it to go, and it comes right out of your check. You don't even have to think about it. And then that's a tax write-off. So just a really cool thing to educate our members on, that it's something that makes us different. And especially those friends that you have that really want to make a difference, just letting them know that the foundation is a way that they can do that.
Yeah.
So I'll probably cut myself out there to talk for hours about things you can do. You can find me also on Facebook at Melissa Askew. I have a public page, and ask me any questions that come up. I know your leaders have such a big heart for what the foundation's doing, and we're so thankful for that. And just keep your eye out on the social media, and you'll see all the neat things going. There's definitely lots to do at convention. Ride for a Reason is selling tickets to win all sorts of cool things. They've announced a Harley, and you don't have to attend a convention to win it. And then a Mini Cooper, which is cool. And then each month they're going to keep rolling out new vehicles, and there's some really cool things coming. So stay tuned. And I'm not sure when this will air on your page, but the first weekend in April, we're in April, May 3rd, there's going to be a silent auction for the foundation. So we have all sorts of really cool things that a lot of diamonds and World Crown Diamonds have donated, and then awesome partners like iTovi and Grow Workspace, and lots of fun Etsy shops. So keep your eye out for that, because 100% is going to the foundation from that auction too.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having such a heart to learn more about the foundation and giving back, because that's what we're all about, right? So.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.